All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome, or morning, afternoon, whenever the hell you're listening to it. Welcome to the year that was. Dot dot dot. I am your host, Aaron Maxon, along with two of my co-hosts, Nate Maxon, my brother. How's it going?
Hello.
And Mark Brew, a member of the
Yo.
a member of the We Can't Wrestle podcast family. Later on, we're hoping that Archie Mitchell will jump on. For those of you that are regular listeners, you know what we do here. But if you're new, what we're doing is we're recapping a year of major wrestling, like mainstream wrestling, which would be at this time 97 WWF and WCW. So essentially, we're going through the year that was 1997. So unless you guys have anything to talk about at the top of the show,
No, I don't.
okay?
97 was the bee's knees. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, it was.
It was a great fucking year for
It
wrestling.
is. Both companies sitting on all cylinders. But we're going to do something that we did a couple weeks ago at the top of the show. We're just going to kind of recap a capsule of what was going on in the United States of America in 97. And we're going to go over the top 10 movies and the top 10 songs of that were the top 10 of this week. So what do you guys want first, the songs or the movies?
I always lean toward the songs. I'm
All
a
right.
music guy.
So the top 10 songs for this week, Billboard Top 10. Number 10 was My Baby Daddy by B-Rock and the Biz.
Oh, God.
I have no idea what
Who
that
that is?
No idea. No, B-Rock and the Biz.
You've never heard that song? Seriously?
No, I've never heard it.
If I've
Oh
heard it,
my
if I've heard it, I don't know. Like I'd be like, oh, okay, I've heard that song, but no, I don't know. I don't know it from memory.
No idea.
And I'm sure I heard it because in 1997 I was working in a music store. So
I'll look it up.
Guaranteed you've heard it.
Number 9 is Where Have All the Cowboys Gone by Paula Cole.
Paula Cole.
Yes.
In 1997, I went to a Lilith fair. And Paula Cole was on the show. And the only thing I remember about that show, well, I mean, there was some nice singing and stuff. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy myself concert-wise, but I also got to hang out with a bunch of lesbians. So that was fun.
Well, that's what's going to happen when you go to a Lilith fair. I mean,
that's right.
Kind of their jam. Number 8 is Hard to Say I'm Sorry by Yeez Yet. I think that's how you say it.
It's hard to say they were sorry, but it's in the title of the song.
That's like the noise I make now when I get up. Yeez Yet.
Yeah. But it's AZ and then YET. Yeez Yet. Number 7 is the song that I bump frequently, Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Good song.
Oh, God, if you don't like that song, something's wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you. Number 7 is Wannabe by the Spice Girls. That was on.
Funny, there was a moment in there.
We talked about it.
There was a moment in time where they were just like, and that's the way it goes in music, especially pop music. There was a moment in time where they were just the biggest thing in the world, and then they were just gone. You know,
right?
I was a fan of Posh Spice. Still am, but yeah, she was the best one. Number 5 is I Want You by Savage Garden. Boring band.
Yeah.
Just very boring.
Bland. They had their
I'm gonna dance with you.
Hits.
I'm gonna dance with you in the trees. I want to float with you in pudding. Whatever the fuck they were singing about.
Who cares? For You I Will by Monica from the Space Jam soundtrack. She's moved up the charts. I think she was like number 9 the last time we talked about it. So she's killing it. Foolish Games by Jewel is still on there. So good for her. And then Can't Nobody Hold Me Down by Puff Daddy in at number 2.
Oh, it fell from number 1?
Yes. And does anybody want to know want to guess what the number one song in the United States of America at this time was?
What was it? Was it by the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Neither one.
Oh,
This was by
What genre was it?
it was rap, like real rap.
Gangsta's Paradise.
Nope. Hypnotized by Biggie Smalls. That was the number
Oh,
one.
that's it. I mean, that one's a good one.
Yes. So Biggie was in at number one. So unless you guys have anything else on that, so I'm imagining
baby.
I'm imagining probably Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Lex Luger were rolling into the building, listening to Hypnotize and all that shit. So
Biggie, can't you see? can't you see them fucking singing that shit?
because that was one thing that Nash said about Luger. Like when he first met Luger, he thought he was going to be like lame. But like he met him and he was in the rap and like smooth R&B and shit. I was like, Lex Luger's kind of cool. Like, I wasn't.
Big swole up dude listening to Jodeci and shit.
I don't listen to podcasts that are wrestlers podcasts. That's just not my jam.
I'm going to listen to Kevin Nash's.
I just said, I was just about to say, I'm going to listen to Kevin Nash's podcast because I love to listen to Kevin Nash shoot. Kevin Nash is a guy that because of how brutally honest he is, he's not full of shit. Like, he'll criticize himself. He never fucking, and granted, he has a high opinion of himself and he's going to tell his side of the story, but he's not full of shit. You just know he's not full of shit. He's too
and the
real.
other reason I'm going to listen to it is who his
Sean Oliver.
Yeah. Like, is it Sean or Greg? I almost say Greg Oliver.
Sean Oliver is that guy. Greg Oliver is a wrestling journalist, but Sean is the one that's hosting the podcast. You're right.
I just about fucked up and said that, but yeah, I like that guy. Like he doesn't come off as like a fanboy or a mark. You know what I mean? Like he actually does his research and shit. So I think I'm gonna enjoy that podcast. Yeah. So now we'll move into the movies. You guys ready for this? Number 10, I actually know some of these movies this week. Number 10 is a movie I like, Grosse Pointe Blank. You guys remember watching that movie?
Yeah.
Good flick.
Yeah, John Cusack movie. There's even a wrestling tie-in in that. Number 9 is Murder at 1600. It was a Wesley Snipes movie. Wesley Snipes movie where he's like investigating a murder at the White House. Yeah,
I know it. I know that in 1997 I saw it, but I've never seen it since.
Yeah,
sounds like 97's version of Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah. Archie's here. Welcome, Archie.
No, sir. I am potato salad tonight.
Potato salad is here. Welcome, potato salad.
Thank you. Thank you.
What we're doing is we're going over the top 10 movies and songs of this week in 1997. You missed all the songs.
But was any of them the Spice Girls?
Yes, one of them was.
Okay, good. All right.
But you just came in right at the top of the movie discussion, so I'll catch you up. Number 10 was Grosse Pointe Blank. Number 9, Murder at 1600. Number 8 is The Saint, which was a Val Kilmer movie of some sort. Number 7, Warriors of Virtue. I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, that is a hidden gem, bro.
Never seen it.
Yeah,
no idea what that movie is.
Yeah, never heard of it.
All right, it was kind of like Ninja Turtles, but they were like kangaroos, and they were ninjas, bro.
Wait a minute.
That is the 90s.
Minus the rat.
That is the 90s. If you could synopsis
in the 90s in a kangaroo pouch. That's
like a guy went into a movie studio and was like, "Listen, it's the Ninja Turtles, but they're kangaroos."
Teenage Mutant Ninja Kangaroos.
Somebody called Jonathan Taylor Thomas. This is a good vehicle for him.
I mean, I watched it as a kid, and it was pretty good.
Uh,
It's not like top 10 movies of all time on my list or anything, but I mean it was a decent movie.
I don't know. You seem pretty psyched about it. You're like, that's a hidden gem.
Yeah, because I knew it and they did.
Oh, okay.
number 6 is Anaconda.
Don't want none unless you got buns,
uh,
huh?
number 5 is Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
That is
Oh,
a
now
my
that's a
God.
hidden gem.
that is a low key amazing comedy movie.
Yeah.
Don't ever sleep on that movie. That is a fantastically funny movie.
Mina Savari is amazing in it.
Yes.
Yeah, Lisa Kudrow's in there. She's funny.
Lisa
So,
Kudrow's an underrated comedic actress.
yes. Number 4, Liar Liar.
Great comedy.
Very
Yes.
good comedy.
It's actually, in my opinion, his best movie. Him being Jim
Kicking
Carrey.
his own ass.
Yes.
You know why I pulled you over?
And then he opens up the. He's got all those parking tickets. Another wrestling connection in that one too, Aaron. The Claw.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna go watch the Macho Man Randy Savage and Ravishing Recruit in the steel cage. Anyway.
Number 3, Volcano. If I
Never
remember
seen
right,
I was not back in the day, I was like 17, 18 years old. I never got into the catastrophe movie craze.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is the one. This is the one with Tommy Lee Jones, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, but there were so many from like 97 to 99. There were so many of those catastrophe movies, and it's just
The only one I really enjoyed was Dante's Peak. I think what Pierce Brosnan
Yeah, not bad.
I believe.
I liked Armageddon.
I liked
Armageddon.
Yeah, that was good.
I had
I
funny
was a
shit.
Twister fan.
The thing I remember about Volcano is they did like the volcano erupted or whatever, and it was like one of the first movies as a kid where I was like, "Ugh, that's dumb." like I became like I don't want to say it, like a little kid, and I was just like, "Yeah, really? You're gonna try to give us a message?" Because at the end of the movie, everybody's helping everybody, and they all have fucking volcanic ash on them or whatever. And a little kid looks at Tommy Lee Jones and he's like, "Look at the people; they all look the same." I'm like, "Ugh, shut the fuck up." That movie sucked.
I thought this was gonna be an action flick.
Yeah, not a fucking message movie. It's kind of like it reminds me of like fucking don't be a menace to society while drinking
Message.
your.
That's why I said it. Message.
Yeah, every time something happens, fucking Keanu Wayne's pops up and he's like, "Message."
Yeah, if you want to do a message movie, you don't do it like that cheesy ass shit. Like a message movie. Example of a good example of a message movie is Pleasantville.
Right.
You know, that is a good message because just the way it's structured and everything, and it's very intelligent and stuff. It's not some simpleton fucking joke like everybody looks the same. Gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, whatever. And then number 2 is, and I'm assuming the next time if I do this next week, it's going to be number 1. It's Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. The original Austin Powers movie is in it.
I love those.
That was by far one of my favorite movies in 1997.
Yes.
Third Austin make you horny, baby. See why?
Third Austin Powers is my favorite though because Mike Myers was just like, "I'm going to do everything that you guys said was too fucking insane in these first 2 movies," and he just put them all in there.
Dr. Evil, I used to think you were crazy, but now I can see your nuts.
See your nuts. Smoking a pancake, bonging a blend.
Right.
I like when fucking Dr. Evil and Goldmember on 3 are like talking over the CB radio.
Yeah.
And Goldmember's like, "That's a big 10 for you, big sack of monkey nuts. I'm driving into your mouth now." It's one of the greatest lines ever written. Fucking fantastic. And then the number 1 movie.
I guess number 1.
Yeah, you're gonna be wrong, but go ahead.
I'm gonna say Men in Black.
Nope.
Oh,
It's some film
Okay.
called. It's a Kurt Russell movie called Breakdown.
yes. Yes. Him and his wife's car break down in the middle of the desert, and a guy picks up his wife while he's walking to get gas and kidnaps her. I've seen it. It's crap.
Well, for East Portland Week, Kurt Russell was making money off that shit. So that is the songs that our stars were listening to on the radio, and the movies they were going to see to kill time before the big shows. And now I'll let you guys decide: are we going to start with the 1 hour Nitro or the 2 hour Raw?
Start with the 1 hour Nitro.
All right.
I just got one comment though, like the fact that you're doing that, the movies and the songs at the beginning is pretty cool because wrestling also is an element of that. It's the music, the
Entertainment.
entrances,
Yeah.
and the theater combined. So it's
I
pretty.
I thought it was pretty
It
good.
puts me in a good mood.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to do it every week, but I figured every couple weeks, because if you do it every week, it's going to be the same shit. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
I look at it. But so we're starting WCW Nitro. They're in Lakeland, Florida. The upcoming pay-per-view is Slamboree 1997, which will be held on May the 18th, 1997. So that's what we're building towards. The big angle going into it is Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and Kevin Green are going to be going to a 6-man match with the Outsiders and Six Pac. The show starts with a recap of the NWO beating down Ric Flair last week, and Roddy Piper, not helping Flair, watching him get beat up, and they're wondering why Roddy Piper took so long to help Ric Flair. And then the show starts, and Piper, Kevin Green, and Ric Flair are at the announce booth. They go to speak, but a Tradition Bites NWO banner falls down behind them, and Piper gets mad, knocks it down, and then goes to speak again, and a similar banner falls in front of their faces. Like, it's just, you gotta see it to see how fucking hilarious it is.
Yeah, because he gets so pissed off when the first one falls, and then when Flair goes to pull it down, he's like, "Piss on it."
Yeah. Like, they're like, we're gonna say our piece, and then the banner falls, rips it down, goes to speak again, one falls right in front of him. Like, character wise, it's totally something Scott Hall would think of.
Yes.
We know they're gonna tear it down. Let's
And
bring
you
it up.
kind of
Right.
gotta wonder, did they let him know? Did they let them know beforehand this was going to happen, or was that Piper's legit response to that banner falling down in his face?
even though at times the NWO storyline kind of shit on the business, it did it in such a funny fashion that it's like, okay, one of my Aaron knows this. Like, I never don't laugh when it sold out 97. It's like from El Paso, Texas, 247 pounds. Eddie Guerrero, and then the NWO voice goes, "Loser." It just
Loser,
cracks
yeah.
me. It fucking cracks me up. Like, there's no music. It's just that he's like, "Loser." It's just so fucking funny. Anyway.
Yeah, them knocking down the one banner and feeling accomplished, and then the other one just falling right in front of their face. It's fucking great. I laugh my fucking ass off. So, Flair, Green, and Piper run off, and the Nitro, like the town blowing up or the city blowing up or whatever, plays, and then Piper, Green, and Flair are in the ring. NWO flyers are now falling from the sky again. Piper says that he saw Ric Flair get beat up, but it was only 3-on-1, so he figured Flair had it handled. And
what a great excuse.
Yeah. And then Flair said he just accepts it, and Then Piper says that he doesn't care that the end. This thing's weird. Piper says that he doesn't care that the NWO is getting 75% of the gate. James J. Dillon comes out, interrupts, and says that Eric Bischoff has made sweet deals for the NWO, so there's nothing he can do about the 75% thing. But tells Piper that he understands that he actually is upset, but remember, you're still going to get 25% of the gate if you show up. And then Piper says that he's going to show up. Where I'm saying this is weird, and Mark, I know you said you watched it. There wasn't any point where Piper said he wasn't going to show up.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's like he insinuated it. Like,
yes, I don't know.
I don't know. Backstage stuff going on. He might have said in a creative meeting or in passing, if they keep booking it like this BS, I ain't showing up. You know, and JJ hung him out to dry.
Part of what I think is I think Piper missed something. I think he missed saying like I think he missed saying something about possibly not showing up and forgot to
like
say
a line or something. Yeah.
And Dylan just went out there and did his fucking thing. But I don't know. It was just weird. And then Flair once again says that he's not sure about if he can take out Scott Hall or Kevin Nash, but he's 100% sure that he can take out Six. Flair, I think, really liked Sean Waltman because he's putting a lot of his focus on Six, and I think he's trying to give him a little bit of a rub in this feud. Six, does that make sense?
Yeah, well, he went on to feud with Six separately after the six-man tag. So I think Waltman was out of. We've talked about this before. Out of the three, Paul, Nash, and Waltman was the one who respected tradition more and actually gave Flair the respect he deserved. So I think Flair was trying to do him a justice by letting him get the rub a little.
Yeah, because Flair's talked about him like the entire time, and Pac has just kind of been like a secondary thing in it. So,
Right.
And then Piper and Green and Flair kind of stay in the ring while the Public Enemy, like they cut their promo and they end it, and then the Public Enemy's music starts hitting. So it kind of looks like it's Flair and Piper and Green's song, which I think is funny. And they're just standing in the ring being them as the Public Enemy makes their entrances, and they have two tables with them, and they're going to be facing Conan and Hugh Morris.
Now, Mark, you watched this as well as just as well as I did. You said you watched it as well. That was like 25 minutes of a segment that Aaron just talked about. So an hour worth of Nitro. They only got an hour. They spent a quarter of it on Flair and Green and Piper.
I mean, it is.
I'll put it like this, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but to me, this show was kind of lackluster.
I agree. For an hour's worth of Nitro, it was pretty bad.
And part of me understands
if they beat Raw in the ratings this week with 1 hour, and it was that shitty, then
part of me does.
I have no faith in humanity.
Last week's show is kind of the same way, but part of me understands it because they're going on at 7, which they're usually on at 8, and they're only going to be an hour, and this is all because of the playoffs. So from a television aspect, it's like you don't know how long this playoff is going to go, so let's kind of, I don't want to say half-ass it, but let's not put our best shit out there. You know what I mean?
Well, they
might not be watching it. Does that make sense? It's kind of like when Raw would get preempted for the dog show. Like that Raw would never be that good. It would basically just be a fucking televised house show because it's like there might be people that don't even know this is fucking on right now. So why would we do some major big angle that nobody's gonna fucking see? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, but at the same time, you got your diehards that's gonna tune in just because your show's on.
Yeah, and they're going to tune in just because it is. So why? It's like we know these people are going to watch, but we're not getting extra eyes on them. Let's not put.
But you just said it though. but you just said it. Last week's show was kind of crappy too, and now your diehards are watching your crappy product for the second week. You're being preempted, so now I got to tune in an hour earlier and only get an hour's worth of WCW. I'm saying go balls to the wall and make it not a pay per view, but at least give them something better than 25 minutes of incoherent Roddy Piper, Ric Flair who's just dancing around and giving Piper praise, and Kevin Green who really couldn't cut a promo. I love Kevin Green, but he wasn't really cutting that big of a promo this day and age, So there was more they could have done instead of giving them that long of a period of time. At one point,
Yeah, I can see it from both angles. So this match is the Public Enemy versus Conan and Hugh Morris. Everybody brings a table, so there's 3 tables out there. There comes the point, the match starts on the floor. It's a brawl. It comes to where it almost looks like Jimmy Hart's going to go through a table, but Conan saves him. And the Public Enemy sets up a double-decker table, and they put Conan on the bottom one, and they're going to smash one table through Conan and Johnny Grunge's body. And they're putting over this. Oh, this is going to break his back. Johnny Grunge goes to do the spot. Obviously, Conan isn't legitimately going to take it. They knew that Jimmy Hart was going to pull him off, but the bump does not go the way that they anticipated because Johnny Grunge does not go through both tables. He hits the top table, it breaks, and then he skids off into the guardrail.
he topples over, yeah.
And you do not see Johnny Grunge the rest of the match.
Loser.
I'm just gonna say this from
Biggest
the
botch
time
ever.
that they said it was Public Enemy and Conan and Hugh Morris, I knew this wasn't gonna be something that was gonna just astoundingly wow me.
Me too, but that fucking bump that Johnny Grunge took, it was fucking insane, and he was
That
legitimate.
like a car wreck.
He was legitimately hurt because they even mentioned that Chuck Tachier, who was basically their Francois Petit or whatever, came out and was attending Johnny Grunge. So Johnny Grunge was legitimately taken out, and then the match continues. Conan somehow winds up on a table, and Rocco Rock proceeds to hold on, I misspoke. Conan's on the table. Rocco's going to moonsault Conan through the table, but Hugh Morris stops him and instead decides to superplex Rocco onto the table, which Conan is on. So he sacrificed his own partner, but still got the pin. So Conan and Hugh Morris are victorious. And then Tony Schiavone states that means that they now get to face the Steiner brothers at Slamboree. So that's how that went.
It was why Conan joined the NWO afterward.
So it was a pretty chaotic match, and it was actually better than what it deserved to be. I didn't mind.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Surprisingly, this was a highlight of that show.
The crowd was into it. So these 4 guys busted their ass, and I really have nothing bad to say about the match. The next thing, unless you guys have anything else to say about that epic Dungeon of Doom.
Nate does. He loves the Public Enemy. There you go. Dynamite dropping, Donnie.
The next thing is, in my opinion, the best thing on the whole show. It's Rey Mysterio going one-on-one with Syxx, who has the Outsiders with him for the Cruiserweight Championship. The match starts quickly because Syxx jumps Rey Mysterio. And they talk about how dirty that is, and Syxx is a punk for jump starting the match. Syxx smacks around Rey Mysterio, gets him in the corner, goes for the Bronco Buster early, and Rey gets his feet up and basically kicks X-Pac in his balls and dick, and He's like, my balls and dick. My balls and dick. And then Kevin Nash is like, you ain't going to kick my buddy in the balls and dick. And he goes to get in the ring, and Rey Mysterio lights him up with a drop kick, and Nash sells it. The crowd is losing their fucking minds. Rey is getting the best of Nash and Six, but Scott Hall ends up dinging him from behind, hits him with the outsider's edge, and then Six traps Rey into the Buzz Killer, and then JJ, and he won't release it. JJ Dillon comes out, instructing him to release it. Then kind of all hell breaks loose, and a bunch of NWO people come out. Eric Bischoff's out there, and he's telling JJ that he doesn't have the authority. What's he doing out there? And then Nash, Pac ends up breaking the hold, and then Nash and Six say that this isn't New York, and we didn't like you there, and you're not going to pull the shit that you pulled when you worked for McMahon, and that's kind of how the segment ends. Now, the segment was exciting, but the thing that I don't like about it is they were telling JJ, you don't have any authority, you don't have any whatever. So and JJ just kind of stands there and watches it. So I don't understand the purpose of JJ Dillon.
Yeah, and his whole argument was if he didn't break the hold, they were going to reverse the decision and shit like that. Like, it was lame. It was watered down as fuck.
Yeah, like once they put JJ in there, it's like if he can't reverse a decision or whatever, it's like I don't understand the purpose of JJ Dillon right now.
The highlight of this segment is it is a little preview of and Aaron knows this. My favorite little man, big man rivalry of all time is Kevin Nash and Rey Mysterio. People say a lot of shit about Kevin Nash, and we talked about him earlier, how we all like him. They talk a lot of shit about Kevin Nash, but when someone's a good worker and is willing to do business and do it well, Kevin Nash will put a motherfucker over. It doesn't matter who it is, what size they are, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if Ray, I can't even remember if Ray ever beat him.
He did,
but
and that's what you were saying about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say he always made Ray look good. You know, they were great together.
And it's like you were saying about where Nash is willing to admit that he did something wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he kind of said he wanted to work with Ray and do that big man, little man thing, and Bischoff kind of let him book it or whatever. And he said he did it in reverse because if you remember, later on, Ray beats Nash, and then they have their rematch, and then that's when Ray loses his mask because they put Liz's hair up against Ray's mask.
Mm-hmm.
Nash says that shit should have been the other way around. Like, he's like, I should have beat Ray, and then obviously we're not going to shave Liz's hair. He's like, but the end of it should have been the other way. Like, I beat Ray, and then Ray comes back, and Ray beats me.
Right.
We should have never taken the mask off of Ray to begin with. And it also was like it would have made Ray bigger if he would have ended up winning the feud.
And I know we're not there yet. We're going to discuss it in the future, but I just wanted to say this is kind of a foreshadowing of my favorite big man, little man program ever.
Yes.
And I love that Rey Mysterio attire too that he has on for this match. The Spider-Man like boots with the damn blue and the red mask is pretty dope.
Yeah, that dude's always super creative with his outfits. What we're gonna do now, Nate? You got it ready?
I do.
Don't hit it right away. We're gonna try a new concept here on the show. We're gonna bring some actual audio from the show, and usually I attempt to try to describe what Lee Marshall says to Bobby the Brain. The 1-800-COLLECT Road Report. But this time we're actually going to listen to it. We're going to see if this height of technology works.
All right, let's go. Go with the road report here. Now we're just waiting on Peacock to actually play the damn thing.
We can edit for time here.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Nate.
Shut up, you face.
1 week ago at the end of Monday Nitro.
Oh, why did it do that?
Oh my God. We need to go to 1725.
Yes, and I actually had it queued up. I bet it's fucking Peacock. 1725. We're gonna go a little bit before that. Here we go. Let's hear the road report.
Yeah.
Presents our road report, and with that in mind, let's go live now to Lee Marshall. Lee, it's wild here. How is it in Baltimore?
Oh, Tony, it's great here in Baltimore. I mean, everybody from Camden Yards down to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, everybody getting ready for a week from tonight. That's Monday Nitro coming to the Baltimore Arena. You know, Baltimore always the epicenter of great WCW excitement, and we expect
Make sure you let Bobby say his
Arena
line.
to be sold out. So be sure you now get your Nitro tickets first thing tomorrow. Baltimore's such a great city. It's called Charm City by the residents, the birthplace of Babe Ruth and Montel Williams and Edgar Allan Poe, and that's why they call the team the Ravens and not the Weasels. On the subject of Weasels, Bobby, listen to me. You need to know that Baltimore is world famous for its annual crab festivals as well. So next week, next Monday, when somebody their Chesapeake blue crabs, Bobby, that's a good thing. That's your 1-800-COLLECT road report from Baltimore. Marshall for 1-800-COLLECT.
Thanks a lot, Lee Marshall. And
I'm going to knock him out.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna knock him out.
All right, you can stop with that.
He said, I'm going to knock him out.
I'm going to knock him out.
That is funny.
So he said, when somebody goes to give you crabs in Baltimore, Bobby, accept it.
It's a good thing.
It must have been a sore spot. There might be one of those backstage stories of Bobby Heenan kissing crabs
in Baltimore. So that was just something I wanted to try out and see if it worked, and it did. So that might be...
yeah, but I learned a lesson about Peacock because I tried to queue it up. If it would have been YouTube or something, it would have just stayed. But apparently with Peacock, if you leave it, if you exit the episode, try to go back in, it starts from the beginning, and you have to click. You have to find your spot again. So we will learn that. That's a lesson learned for next time when I'm using Peacock to do that. I'll queue it up. I'll queue it up right before.
I heard his grandkid yelling when we were watching the road report, so maybe he had to go deal with that. Hulk Hogan's back, ladies and gentlemen. You're never going to have a WCW any type of event in Florida where Hogan's not there. That dude's like the king of Florida, especially at this
probably spot. Where they were shooting fucking McShitty's Island.
Yeah. So Hogan's always going to be in Florida. So he appears, he comes out, he's with Eric Bischoff, and Hogan's talking. He brings up the Outsiders, and Bischoff says people want to know when you're going to beat Ric Flair like an old shoe again, and Hogan says he doesn't have to because he knows his boys, the Outsiders and Six, are going to deal with that, so he's not worried about Flair. Then Hogan says that everybody wants a piece of him. He's been watching Nitro at home and didn't realize how hard his life was until he's heard everybody talking about wanting to fight him. From Giant to this guy to that guy. And then he says that he doesn't want to fight any of them. He only wants to fight the big dog of the company, the big guy Sting. And he calls out Sting, and they're looking to the heavens for Sting to drop. Sting doesn't show up. And then Hogan says that this proves that he's a god and Sting's afraid of him. And then they leave. So they got all these people amped up for Sting to show up, and he didn't. And then Tony Schiavone mentions that Hogan didn't bring up Luger because he actually thinks that Hogan's legitimately afraid of Luger, but then also mentions that Luger isn't there because he got hurt in Japan. So I don't know what this Japan shit is, but apparently the NWO Japan contingent beat up Lex Luger in Japan and injured him. And
It
that's,
probably didn't even happen.
who knows, but that's what they did with that segment. You guys got anything on that?
This point in time, Hulk Hogan was extra leathery.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because he was making a movie. He had to be.
riding all those fucking jet skis.
Yeah. He was on McCliskey's Island, man. It's fucking paradise. So that segment was what it was. And Nate, it's like you were talking about. Hogan always talks big shit about Sting when he knows Sting ain't around. But the minute Sting shows up, he goes old school heel and fucking powders out. Like
Yeah,
Hogan
I said before, Hogan and Sting is some of the greatest shit ever until they get to the end of it.
Yeah, and they fucking
fuck it up.
Yes, they let the Hogan let his politics take over. And
at this point, though, I love the heel promos.
Oh yeah, no, he was. I mean, Hulk Hogan was born to be a heel. He was a heel when he was a baby face. But yeah, this is good shit at this time.
And people can say what they want to say, and Bischoff can say, and I know we're ahead of ourselves. And Bischoff can say it however he wants to say it. Fucking Hogan knew if he lost cleanly to Sting, that whole fucking wave that he was riding would have been gone. And he worked Bischoff. He fucking worked him.
Yeah, he did.
Totally worked him. He told Eric, because I think Eric, if he would have just did it, like his whole fucking idea was Sting's gonna beat you, and then Hogan got to that point, and I honestly believe at the beginning of it, Hogan was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and then when it started getting traction and fucking money coming in and fucking merchandise and all that shit, he was like, "Oh, look at Sting, he's out of shape, brother. Do you think you think he looks like a paunchy Eric?" But he fucking worked Eric. He did.
He's a little pale. He's wearing white fucking face paint.
So yeah, Hogan worked his buddy. I totally believe that. The next match really isn't a match. It's Lord Steven Regal versus Meng. Regal comes out. He doesn't have his robe or anything, and Bobby's like, "Oh, usually we see William Regal out here, and he's doing it. He's primping and posing, and he's got his red, white, and blue robe on, and he's not even wearing his robe tonight. He's here because he wants to fight." And then Larry Zbyszko says, I think he didn't wear his robe to the ring because he doesn't want Meng to eat it. He's probably afraid Meng's going to eat his robe. And then Bobby says Meng's ate worse things than robes before. So I don't know if he was kind of ribbing his buddy there.
Maybe a nose.
Or a gross.
I've been waiting backstage for 20 minutes.
Not 20 minutes.
I'm joking. Sorry about that. My internet went out.
It's okay. Like I said, Bobby said that Regal didn't wear his robe to the ring, and Zbyszko says, well, he didn't want Meng to eat it, and Bobby says, I think Meng's ate worse things than a robe before. I think he was kind of ribbing Meng, and I have a feeling that much like Bobby with Harley Race, I think Bobby is probably one of the only guys in the professional wrestling industry allowed to like get away with fucking making fun of Meng or ribbing him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's probably not a lot of guys making fun of fucking Haku, but Bobby, he didn't get away with it, and Haku's probably cool with it. Fucking Bobby. So this match starts hot and heavy. They're both smacking the shit out of each other, chopping each other. And then in something that's, and it's all the people involved, so I understand it, but it's something that's super realistic. Kevin Sullivan, Jackie, and Jimmy Hart come running out, and Regal automatically jumps out of the ring and jumps on Kevin Sullivan. Like when he sees it, he's just like, "Nope, like I'm not gonna let this guy attack me." You know,
You're not doing this 2 weeks in a row, fucking up my match.
yeah. Regal's character automatically knew I have to be on the offense in this situation, or I'm done. You know what I mean? But they still end up getting the better of Regal, and Man gets the tongue and death grip on Regal, and it ends where it just ends in a no contest, and Sullivan ends up getting Mang off of Regal because he says that's Benoit. Don't waste time on him. We need to focus on Benoit, and Mang ends up breaking the tongue and death grip, and that's how it ends. It was a quick segment, and it got over Mang as being a badass, and
then it really looked like he had him right by the gizzard too.
Yeah, so it was a quick segment, but it was effective. The next thing is a boring video on what DDP and Randy Savage have been up to. It's mainly getting over DDP. It's just a voiceover guy talking about
diamond cutters and shit.
DDP's out for his interview. He's got Kim Page with him, who is nicely tanned and wearing a low-cut white mini dress.
Did you notice she about fell down the ramp?
Yeah. But
she always fell down the ramp.
I don't care. I was just like, oh, like those are my main notes. DDP interview. I didn't write down anything that he said. It just says Kimberly Page, nicely tanned, wearing a low-cut white mini dress. It was great.
Evad would have been happy with it.
Yes. Macho Man then comes out and cuts his standard right now Savage promo from the crowd. Savage is obviously hurt right now. So my thing is I enjoy the Randy Savage DDP feud, but with Savage being hurt, it's the same thing every week.
Yeah, him doing the chicken shit, EO shit from the crowd.
Yeah, so just kind of like, this is wash, rinse, repeat with DDP and Savage. Nate, are you still there?
I am.
Okay. I just heard somebody's so I didn't know if somebody's shit restarted or something.
Yeah, my internet was slowing down a little bit, and a lot of times if you turn your camera off, it helps with that.
I get it. The next thing is Alex Wright, and he's wearing black now. He's still wearing his black leather jacket, but he's got black tights on as he's coming out. A couple of the things of him, and he pulls away, and Shivani brings that up, and he's facing Jeff Jarrett, who's with Deborah. Alex Wright's doing a little bit of Healy shit in here. Deborah then distracts Alex Wright, who tries to attempt to dance for her to entice her. So he does his little dick dance, thinking it's going to get Deborah.
He likes the dancing.
Yeah,
he likes the dancing.
He does his little dick dance for Deborah. She wasn't impressed. And Jeff Jarrett ends up chop blocking Alex Wright, getting the figure 4. And there's your winner, Jeff Jarrett. And they mention again that Alex Wright was kind of healing it up in the match. So they're starting to lead to the epic. They're starting to hint towards the epic heel turn of Alex Wright. So we got that to look forward to.
Yes.
When the fuck was he fucking face? I never liked him. He was a fucking chode to me.
I'm trying to figure out when he was epic. I don't remember that part.
I am the complete. I am going to be the odd man out here.
You're not going to be the odd man out because I know.
I really, really liked Alex Wright. I thought he had a great upside, and he actually, I think that if he wouldn't have had the injuries that he had, because the reason he never showed up at the WWF after the acquisition was he was just kind of riddled with injuries at the time. And then by the time he was probably ready to go, he was kind of an afterthought. But I thought he had amazing potential. I thought in that invasion angle, he could have been a big deal in that and probably been a big part of the WWF after the WCW folded.
In WCW, and like Alex Wright, he was a guy that got a jump gimmick, but could fucking work. That dude was a fucking working machine in my opinion.
And people don't talk about the fact that he was. People don't talk enough about the fact that he was a really, he was a second generation wrestler and really good at. I liked him.
Yeah. I like him. I just, like I said, I think he got a crappy gimmick. Like
he
that
gave
gimmick
him a cool
was
gimmick though when he came back, and then he didn't do anything with it though. Aaron, he was Berlin with the wall.
Specken Sie
a
Deutsch.
good worker.
I didn't say he wasn't a good worker, and I actually have no problem with Alex Wright. I enjoyed him as the TV champion. He was actually very well, rounded. I just think that he was better suited for a tag team with Disco Inferno. They should have just let them ride that out.
I just wasn't a fan of the whole Euro party boy dance thing. I guess that's what
I think you might look at it a bit differently if they wouldn't have made him a babyface, because that character totally works for a heel.
Yes, when he started healing it up and speaking only in German, and then Mean Gene would always have to remind him about English only here, buddy.
Yeah,
it did get better.
So unless we got anything else on that, the next match is Glacier going one-on-one with one of my low-key favorite luchadors on the WCW roster, making his debut, Liz Mark Jr. Okay, I kind of like Liz Mark Jr., and this is his debut. And they don't do him any favors, though, because he's coming out, and Liz Mark Jr. comes out, and Shivani's like, it's the WCW debut of Liz Mark Jr., and he's coming out. Bobby Heenan's like, he kind of looks like an alien, Bobby says. And Zbyszko laughs, and then Zbyszko says, hey, Tony, do you know anything about his dad, Liz Mark Sr.? And Tony goes, nope. And then Bobby's like, I don't know anything about him either. And then Zbyszko's like, yep, I don't know anything either.
Maybe this is a time where you need Mike Tenay.
Was that maybe a knock at Mike Tenay a little bit because he knew everything about Lucha Libre?
I don't know, but these three guys were just like, all right, this guy's debuting. Looks like an alien, and we don't know anything about his past or his family or anything. We have nothing on Liz Mark Jr.
Aaron, do you realize if you fast forward that 25 years later to now, and they would have said he looks like an alien, and him being Hispanic, how many people would have crucified them the next day?
No, I
what
guarantee
saying, he doesn't have a green card. I mean, it would have been the next day. It would have been over.
That would have happened, and Bobby knew exactly what he was saying.
Oh yeah.
Like, Bobby knew exactly what he was, because he could be like, no, I mean, look at his mask. Like, he could explain it.
Right.
Oh, I mean, look at his mask. He looks like an alien. But he was making an illegal immigrant joke.
I actually had to Google it. And because I was interested in who it actually was. Fucking complete turnaround from what he looked like. Like, he's fucking muscled up now with fucking like black eye paint and shit. And it's like a complete transformation.
They remember that MTV Lucha Libre show they started, Lucha Libre USA Masked Warriors? He was one of their main guys. It was him and Mark Jindrak as the guys battling for the world title. So, Liz Mark is a completely different guy. Marco Corleone, exactly.
But I was a fan of Liz Mark Jr. But he gets nothing in this match. He gets they don't do anything for him on commentary. And then Glacier ends up beating him in like 35 seconds with his cryonic kick.
Yep.
And then Mortis attacks and Glacier starts getting the upper hand of Mortis, and then James Vandenberg comes out, and Glacier doesn't see James Vandenberg or the unnamed Joke. They still haven't named Wrath. So I'm just gonna...
That's the problem that I have with this whole segment. They were like, he's still unnamed, but when he fucking came out and they did that whole thing with stabbing him in the eye with the damn helmet, he let it slip. That's Wrath.
Really?
You already named him.
Right.
You're gonna act like it just didn't fucking happen.
So that's your biggest problem with this whole segment?
Yeah, well, I mean, and other than the fact that that match was the equivalent of that Todd Duffy 8-second knockout fucking shit in UFC.
And then the
Like,
fact that they're beating Glacier up with a fucking stick with a stuffed animal on top of it. like Mortis's stick obviously is like a fucking, you can see that it's a fucking cushion. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
That was a golf head cover, okay?
Yeah, okay. They proceed to beat the shit out of fucking Glacier with a cotton candy stick, and that's how that ends. So Glacier,
did they get to keep the helmet?
Yeah, they kept the helmet.
All right, good. I'm happy they got to keep the helmet.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek was fucking taunting him with it the whole time.
Obviously, they needed the fucking helmet because this whole shit to me is retarded.
Yeah.
So maybe they needed the fucking helmet to keep them from licking the windows or something. But
no. What you don't know is the helmet, it gave them powers to make it snow indoors. That's how Glacier's entrance worked. That's why he would get a jobber entrance without the helmet.
Anyway, this thing's completely fucked. Why couldn't this be James Vandenberg managing Chris Kanyon and Brian Clark beating up Ray Lloyd?
Well, I mean, I didn't dislike Mortis.
No,
I didn't dislike the Mortis character. It's just the fucking angles they put it in made it just like fucking weak as shit.
But Ray Lloyd, in my opinion, great worker. Chris Kanyon, nobody can ever take anything away from Chris Kanyon. Brian Clark, I'm not a fan, but he's a big motherfucker, so I can understand it. James Vandenberg, hell of a talent, but all these gimmicks and everything all together is just, it's rough.
2 years too late and way out of place.
Yeah. So the next thing we get is our Nitro main event. It's supposed to be Harlem Heat taking on the Giant and Lex Luger, but as we mentioned earlier, Lex Luger. Hold on, where am I at? Sorry, guys. As I mentioned earlier, it's supposed to be Lex Luger and Giant taking on Harlem Heat, but Luger got beat up in Japan and is injured, so he cannot compete tonight. So instead, Giant says that he has a replacement, and it's DDP. So then DDP and Kim Page come out, and as they're coming out, Randy Savage appears in the shadows, distracting DDP. DDP grabs one of Savage's crutches and goes to smash Savage with it, but Hogan shows up and attacks DDP. And then the entire NWO, well, most of the entire NWO, piles in and attacks Harlem Heat and the Giant in the ring. So now the Hogan and Savage are beating up Piper and Kim by the announce desk, and then Ric Flair and Kevin Green come out to try to help, but it's too much. Then Piper comes out as well, and he gets beat up, and Hogan and Macho Man take over the announce booth, talking about how the NWO's all back together. Savage is like, I'm glad you're back, Hulk. this, that, and other thing, and it ends basically with the NWO beating down WCW.
One thing, whenever Nash was in there and had Piper, and they're like, choke him out, big man, and all that. If you notice, he keeps saying they're all that they're lines and stuff like that, right? Which is going to segue into what we're going to talk about on Raw, because it was like, if you ask me, they were back there on that monitor watching WWF at the time. Like, what do we do to fucking throw shots at them? And I feel like that was a shot.
All right. So
Now,
that was,
I noticed something before they went off the air. When Macho Man says, "I'm happy to have you back, Hulk," there is a glimmer of lust in Hogan's eyes for Miss Elizabeth. But maybe I was noticing too much.
What I noticed was, goddamn, they packed a lot in a fucking hour.
Yeah, but everything was rushed because they gave.
What I noticed was they were like, "Here's the main event," and then we never got a fucking match.
But they always did that. Every week they would give you some kind of inkling to a main event that might not happen.
but it's like they said, they packed a lot of shit into an hour, and now
They damn sure did.
they pack nothing into 3.
Right.
This is true.
So unless you guys have anything else about Nitro,
Can we talk about Kimberly's outfit again?
We can,
I'm
but
joking.
that's
I'm
a whole
only
nother
joking.
show. It's a whole nother
Okay.
show.
Aaron will have to take a break after that.
Well, I have to take a break now because I have to piss. That's what I was say was you guys want to take like a 4 or 5 minute break before we get into Raw,
Sounds good.
Okay.
however long, till we're all back or whatever.
Are you still there, Nate?
I'm still here. I don't know if Nate is still here.
You see where I put out there, you know, trying to get some feedback from our listeners and stuff, or my, you know, the Facebook group, and then I said, who would you guys like to see on Mark Cindy Spotlight? And Chad fucking commented himself.
Yep.
Like, let's make it happen. That's gonna be a fucking epic one.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get laughs galore out of that one.
Oh yeah.
Because his stories alone, you know what I mean, are gonna be hilarious. If he puts that much into ECW, imagine what he's gonna tell you about his entire career.
Right. You know who I really want to get on?
Who?
Angel Medina.
Why, is he a wrestler?
He used to be in ECW and all that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does that Wrestling with Tragedy podcast.
Right. I know. How hard would it be for you to get him on?
Probably not. I'd probably just reach out to him via email and we could probably make that happen.
Right. I don't think it should be that hard.
So, being that we're backstage and nobody's going to hear this, so I'm doing a damn thing for creating a design for a junior heavyweight strap, right?
Okay.
And the way we're gonna build it up is I'm gonna bring in Rhett Titus to work Logan.
Okay. He's got a good name behind him. He's been Ring of Honor, MLW, AEW a couple times. Yeah. Just promise me one thing.
What's up?
Please don't bring Kenny King into your promotion. I hate that guy.
Who the fuck is Kenny King?
His Rhett Titus' former tag team partner.
Oh yeah.
I hate Kenny King. He thinks he's God's gift to wrestling, and he's never really done anything in wrestling in order to be that good.
Right.
So, Like there's him, Leo Rush, and that girl. What's her name? Trying to think of her name. Not Kimberly. What was her name again? Kylie Ray or
Uh-huh.
Kaylee Ray. They always retire or leave wrestling when they're about to get like a big push, and then they're pissed off and claim that somebody picked on them, or bullied them, or was racist towards it. Like Leo Rush has retired 4 times from wrestling,
Right.
and every time it was somebody else's fault. But then they just recently asked him in an interview, if the opportunity presented itself to go back to the WWE, would you? He said, "Hell yeah, I'd go back to the WWE." Well, if they were racist towards you, why would you want to go back?
Uh-huh.
You know, Kenny King was like, "I'll never work for Ring of Honor again. They were racist when I was a partner with Red Titus, and they were racist when I was the TV champion. How could they be racist when Jay Lethal was one of their longest reigning champions? You know what I mean?"
Yeah, it's motherfuckers not wanting to admit, hey, I was fucking up and I wasn't on top of my
Right,
game. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's like, don't blame nobody else. Own your shit, dude.
Look, a guy like Austin Aries leaves the WWE and says it was because they weren't giving me the push I deserved. I believe that. A guy like Pac leaves the WWE and says that. I believe it. But when a guy like Leo Rush, who's unproven, or that girl Kaylee Ray says it about the NWA, it's like, no, you knew where you were going to fall flat on your face, and you didn't want to give up the embarrassment. You decided, I'm not going to have this match this week. I'll just retire for a month and then get right back to it. You know, look, I get anxiety. We both have it. We both talked about it before, Mark. Everybody has it.
Right.
But if your anxiety is that bad, then you shouldn't be a professional wrestler or involved in anything entertainment wise, because you're not able to deal with a bunch of people around you watching you.
Right.
You know.
I'm fucking
So
excited as fuck for Saturday.
what the Saturday's the
Main event. And
yeah,
then the following Saturday I got Dr. Tom, and then the following Saturday I got the show that we're doing
right,
for Logan Land. So I
right.
got 3 weekends of back to back fucking wrestling.
That's
It's gonna be awesome.
that's a pretty damn good way to end July, right?
Right. Like it's all been eventful, so
Right. That's good.
but like I was saying too, you know, that's how I wanna build up the lineage of these titles by having, you know, fucking named people that, you know, have some stain in the fucking professional wrestling
Right.
world
Of
competing
course.
for them.
Well, I mean, you look at back at the lineage of ECW and the TV title and the world title. There's names like Jimmy Snuka, Road Warrior Hawk on the TV title. You know what I mean? There are
Right.
names on those belts that you're like, wow, I didn't know they were in this company. When was this? When was that? And then people go back and research it. So if you do that with your titles, it'll be the same way. People will go back and research. Well, when was Red Titus in that promotion? You know what I mean? When was he there? When
Right.
was this? When was that? You know, gives them
Which I mean
history to look back
I
on.
can I can get him for a pretty decent price and for multiple shows. So
Right. Welcome back, Aaron.
Yep. Is Nate back yet?
I'm here.
Why didn't you say something?
You guys
Being
were
all
talking.
sneaky.
You
were
guys
being
are
all
talking,
sneaky.
and I'm working.
No. Oh, what are you doing?
Nate, I
Editing.
sent you a link, Nate, to your phone. I was gonna see if maybe we could do the new technology we learned maybe in the middle of Raw and maybe play the trailer to Mark's favorite movie.
oh, you're fucking shitting me.
I found it.
Man, I thought that I missed that McClintock's Island or whatever the hell it was called last week.
No, I found the Warriors of Virtue trailer on
Oh,
YouTube.
Oh,
okay.
that's what's up.
And I also found this. You guys ready? It might not work. This Nate hates when I do this. You guys ready?
Go ahead.
Good God.
That's actually becoming viral again on TikTok.
That's
If
terrible.
that tells you how shit comes full circle, right?
Well, yeah, but now that's just my baby doggy. That's why. That's what it is now.
Baby
And it's a little
dog.
dog. Yeah,
love
that's
it.
just my baby doggy. That's all this. My granddaughter loves the song.
But that's just my baby daddy.
Right. So they just
And
changed
then
the word.
I found another song from the 80s. And this, I know that song wasn't from the 80s, but I found a song from the 80s. And it's called Your Mama Smoked Crack Rock. You guys got to look that
Yeah,
up.
I've heard that.
Jesus.
I've heard that.
That's fucking funny.
Your mama smokes.
It's crack rock.
Well, I know what the new entrance to if you smell what the art just cooking is going to be.
I'll send it to you, Nate. But yeah, Nate. But you know how Raw would be like, oh, we're gonna close out, and then they do the big like, we're going into Raw is War, so they play the theme again. I want to do that, but in this episode, it's gonna be the trailer for Warriors of Virtue.
All right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Kangaroos.
But did you actually watch the trailer?
Yes.
It doesn't look bad. Then.
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible. You expected Aaron to say it looked good? Come on now.
No, I mean,
I wouldn't even.
It looks like a typical '90s movie like that.
I wouldn't even said we're gonna put this on my show if it would have looked great. It's like no, I'm not doing that.
I mean, it's not McShitsky's Island. I'd rather watch that than McShitsky's Island.
Well, yeah, I understand. But I've decided since nobody's listened to this show, I'm going to make it the dumbest show that we have on our entire network.
How do you know nobody's
They're
listening
gonna
to
fucking
this
feel
show?
sorry whenever they fucking don't listen to it, and then they go back and see this fucking comedic gold shit.
But how do you know no one's listening to the show?
I don't even.
Well, me and Mark listen to it.
Yeah, I listen to all our shit back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ready?
Yes. I'm a huge fan of self-deprecating humor. Nate knows that. I've been doing self-deprecating humors for fucking 39 years. All right. We ready?
Ready.
All right. So Nitro, it's ended. And we kind of did the flip of what I did as a kid, because as a kid, I used to watch Raw live and tape Nitro on my VHS because we were classy and had a VHS that you could watch something and record. Like you could watch a live show and record another live show at the same time. Our mom actually spent money on a VCR. It wasn't for recording wrestling. It was so she could record her stories, but I used it to my advantage.
Thank you, Miss Maxon.
Yes. So this is the WWF Monday Night or Raw's War now from May 5th, 1997. It's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it is the go home show to In Your House, Cold Day in Hell. Nate, please write that down.
Yeah, I'll get the name right this time.
Because we're recording that next week, and I don't want you to fuck it up.
It's gonna be Revenge of the Taker.
I thought it was the Generation X.
Revenge of the Taker. But we get a recap of last week's Raw with the Bret Hart, Steve Austin saga, and then we get the opening Warehouse's War Raw beginning, which is my favorite opening to a Raw, to any incarnation of Raw. Just the video is fucking fantastic. And then and there's a lot to unpack in this, guys, so I'm gonna just, I don't want to say ramble, but I'm not verbating him. I'm not going to do Bret's promo verbatim, but I got a lot of notes in here because it is a long promo. But the greatest faction of all time, the Hart Foundation, make their entrance to the arena. Fans in South Africa, the Middle East, Germany, and especially up in Canada, and tells the American fan
Uh-oh.
It tells the American
It's the longest drawn out promo ever.
fan, wait for it, wait for it.
Aaron, if you can hear me, you froze up.
You're frozen, and
If he can hear us, he's like, those fucking dicks are talking over me.
Are you guys back? Or am I back, I should say.
Yeah, you are back.
you are back.
Okay.
Kind of. Yes.
Sorry about
you're
that.
You're good.
So Brett thanks all his fans in South Africa, the Middle East, Germany, Canada, but then tells the American fans that they can quote their good buddy Shawn Michaels and say, "Tough titty said the kitty," because I don't want anything to do with you. And then he thanked Brian Pillman for all his prayers from last week. He thanks Owen for winning the Intercontinental Championship and dedicating that to him. You guys still there?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's picture went away. I just want to make sure my internet is fucking up again. I don't know why I
No,
pay
you're
for
Well, I
this
did
shit.
that to try to help
Fucks
your internet.
up. Okay, thank you. And then he also thanks Davey, and Pillman did pray for him. Okay, and no one did win the Intercontinental title, but then this is like Brett being total heel, and he thanks Davey Boy for thoroughly beating down the Undertaker last week in his honor. Davey didn't do that.
Right.
And then he thanks his best friend Jim Neidhart for saving his life, because he said if I was up on that ramp and Steve Austin was seconds away from throwing me off the ramp, breaking every bone in my body, and then slamming my wheelchair down on me, but Jim Neidhart saved me. And then he starts talking about all the gold they have. They have the European gold, the tag team gold, the Intercontinental gold. And then he says, Brian, you have the best gold of them all. You know the golden rule. And what's the golden rule, Brian? And then Brian says, do unto others and enjoy it. And then him
Great
and Brett
line.
laughed together. Yes. And then him and Brett laughed together. And then Brett says, since they already took out Stone Cold and he ain't going to show up tonight, they want to punish somebody else, another American hero, and it's HBK. And then they all leave. Brett did a fantastic job here. And like I said, I know the Horsemen were the Horsemen and whatever, but this is the greatest fucking faction in the history of professional wrestling.
At this time, the Hart Foundation were great. I will say that they were a great unit. They worked really well together. They were dominant of all the gold, and Brett and each of them all did something with Brett that made you either laugh or smile. So,
and they were the most believable faction in history, I think, because these guys would fucking die for each other because they were brothers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You remember how I was talking about the whole thing with Nash choking out Piper and kept saying that they were lying? This is what I was referring to. Like, they were backstage. I guarantee you they watched this fucking promo from Brett, and they were like, well, how do we take ribs at them, or take shots at them subliminally? And this was it. Like,
yeah, because you're right. I didn't write that down, but Brett talked about they were a pack of lions, and that Steve is a hyena, and Shawn Michaels. He says Shawn Michaels is that a feminine antelope just dancing around. Yeah. So good call, Mark. I should have wrote that down, but yeah. So unless you guys got anything else on the opening segment with the Hart Foundation, we'll move into our first match.
Just said it was a better opening segment than Nitro had.
yes, it was.
So the opening match is Ahmed Johnson. He's not wearing his fucking like butt floss tights this week. He's wearing black pants and tennis shoes, and he's facing Rockabilly with the Honky Tonk Man.
He couldn't get the shit stain out the tights,
I don't think
so
he
he
cared.
had to just fucking wear the black pants.
So Rockabilly and the Honky Tonk Man come out, and Rockabilly goes to dance. Ahmed ain't having none of it. Jump starts the match. The match starts. Then we get a corner interview with Farouk, and Vince McMahon says, "Farouk, you have to be. I know you don't like Ahmed, but you have to be impressed with his physical prowess in the ring." And Farouk says, "Nope, I'm not impressed at all," and says that Ahmed's not going to be able to run the gauntlet at Cold Day in Hell, and that later tonight he's going to show everybody how to win a gauntlet because he's going to have Crush do it. Then Rockabilly, so they're setting up the Crush is going to be in a 1-on-3 gauntlet match later tonight. Then Rockabilly attempts to use the guitar on Ahmed Johnson while Honky Tonk Man is distracting the referee, but Johnson gets the guitar away from him instead and smacks him with the guitar. The referee sees it, and your winner by disqualification is Rockabilly. So it was what it was.
My remarks towards Farouk saying that he wasn't impressed with Ahmed Johnson. You are not alone.
By this point, nobody was impressed with Ahmed Johnson.
Nor were they impressed by Rockabilly.
Nope.
What were you going to say, Nate?
I mean, Ahmed is such an anomaly to me in wrestling because, and I don't care what anybody says. When he first came in '96, that fucking dude was over. And
95, but
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he came in November of '95, but I'm talking about like running up to the Intercontinental title match with Goldust and all that. He was over as shit, and he did have a charisma, but
yeah, and he looked like what the fuck a wrestler was supposed to look like.
Yes, but his injuries and his attitude got in his own way, and I think also something that hurt him, and I'm not going to harp on it. I think also something that hurt him was they just left him married to this Nation of Domination thing for so long. That
the reason it went so long is because they kept fucking hurting each other, so they couldn't get the fucking payoff.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he had. I mean, and I'm not sitting here
right from the boot, and then
I'm not
said, "Fuck it, I'm going to hurt him."
I'm not sitting here trying to be Ahmed's lawyer or anything because I know as time went on, he got lazy. He got cocky. He got, he became a pain in the ass. But I don't know that anybody could legitimately go back, watch him in '96 and deny that he was fucking over and had potential.
Yeah, I mean, he was, but like at this point,
at this point he's a train going off the tracks.
He's fizzling out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen this happen. We've seen this happen with Vince many times in the past and up until modern day. He gets a proverbial liking to a wrestler. He thinks they're great. He straps a rocket to their back, and then when the rocket fizzles out slightly, I don't like this guy anymore. Move on, and it's just, you know what I mean. So even if Ahmed would have been the picture of pleasantries with his attitude and wouldn't have gotten injured or anything like that, Vince still might have pushed him because he just lost interest.
The best thing to do with him in '97 would have been to get him away from the Nation, turn him heel, and give him a mouthpiece.
Right, like Clarence Mason, because you fired him from the Nation anyway.
Yeah.
Or Jim Cornette.
Yep, give him somebody that could talk and just let him be a beast. And anyway, I didn't want to make this the Ahmed Johnson show. I was just defending, the early. I could see their way of thinking initially with him.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
I only got one more comment. And when you said that, you think the one thing that led to his downfall, I thought you were going to say it was the fact that they built him from Pearl River, Mississippi.
So then we get the Hart Foundation. They're continuing to search for Shawn Michaels because they want to kick his ass. They go into the men's locker room and they look in a men's room to try to find him. And they're like, he's not in here. And then Owen says a line. And I don't know if you guys didn't watch it, so you didn't catch it, which is fine. But they're looking around like, oh, Davey's like, we can't find him. Owen, we can't find him. And then Owen, guys, we're looking at the wrong place. He's probably in the ladies' washroom. Which I thought was funny. And then and the fact that he said washroom, I'm like, that's the most Canadian thing ever.
Right.
Like,
What got me excited, I thought they were going to go into the women's fucking showers.
Yeah.
He's in the women's water closet.
Yes.
He's in the loo.
If Owen would have been from New York, he would have been like, he's probably in the ladies' WC, that type of thing. And then we get a boring fluff video on Ken Shamrock.
Why did they waste the time on him?
I put in my notes, and I've said this before, Ken Shamrock, and Nate will know what I'm saying. Ken Shamrock is the biggest victim of the success of Austin 316.
Yes. He was going to be the guy.
He was going to be the guy. That was the guy in 96, 97. They were like, oh, this is going to be the guy. He's going to be the best. He's going to be the best. And then Steve just fucking stole it. And
well, you know how Nate was saying last night that the lineage goes Andre, Taker, and Brock Lesnar. I think that was their attempt. Vince was like, well, fuck, this didn't work during the Attitude Era with Shamrock. Let's do it with Brock.
But
definitely.
Yeah, Shamrock, I think I think they had plans to make that guy their fucking champ at some point. Like I said,
at some point, yeah.
Austin came in there and just outworked him, and I'm not even saying it was like a malicious thing. I just think they stumbled upon the Austin thing, and I was like, all right, Shamrock, this guy's.
My favorite thing about him was his sister.
Favorite thing about him is his sister?
Yeah.
Ryan Shamrock. She's going to show up in
yes.
But they're hyping this Ken Shamrock stuff because Vader is going to be facing Ken Shamrock at Cold Day in Hell in a no-holds-barred match. So Vader comes out, and then Ken Shamrock comes out to get on headset. Vader is going to be facing Goldust. And as they're talking, Jim Ross, or as the match is going on, Jim Ross on commentary says that apparently someone has broken into the Undertaker's locker room and stole the WWF title. Then Vader ends up knocking down Goldust, but then gets out of the ring and confronts Ken Shamrock at the commentator's table, and they go into a commercial break. And when they come back, they've apparently separated those guys, and the match is continuing. And Vader ends up hitting a Vader bomb on Goldust and pinning him 1, 2, 3. And then Vader challenges Shamrock to get in the ring. Ross says there's no money in it. Like, why would you do this now? And then Vader ends up spitting in the direction of Ken Shamrock, which pisses him off. So Shamrock gets in the ring and they brawl until Mankind comes out and attacks Ken Shamrock. And then Goldust ends up getting in the ring and helping Ken Shamrock. And Goldust and Ken Shamrock run off Vader and Mankind. And that is that segment.
Did you notice, too, that they had Terry fucking actually smoking the cigar on the apron?
Yeah.
Like, back then, that was a no-no for the smoking on TV shit. But then, for WCW, but fucking, you do it in WWF and it was okay.
And I thought it was honestly a weird use of Goldust because they had him feuding with Hunter. and that was supposed to be like a big like feud at the time or whatever. And the other reason I think it's weird is because Goldust is just lost, and now they're going to roll into a in-depth interview that's going to go multiple weeks about the story of Dustin Runnels. You guys remember these segments?
Yes.
Where he's talking about like being the son of Dusty Rhodes and this, that, and everything. And Jim Ross is interviewing him, and Dustin's talking about how when he was a kid, he never really saw his dad. And then when he got time with him, he was like, oh, it was so cool because we'd go to like a grocery store and people would be clamoring for my dad's autograph and he'd be paying attention to him. And then I would think, oh, it's really cool that these fans are talking to my dad, but then I want them to talk to me, or I want my dad to talk to me. And then I got in the business and people would say, how's your dad? And I'd fake it and be like, he's great, but I really wish they would have talked to me. I'm using the put on voice because Dustin kind of sounds like a little bitch here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because I never got the respect.
Yeah, I'm so sad. Whatever. So basically they did that little segment, and Dustin was talking about how he hasn't talked to his dad in like 3 years, and he whatever. They're trying, Nate. I don't know if I think I got my timeline crossed up. Did they do this with Dustin and then with Foley, or did they do the Foley one first?
No, Foley was first.
All right.
Yeah, Foley was first. He was the guinea pig for that type of a thing.
Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah,
got him
absolutely. It actually made Vince McMahon a fan of Mick Foley. But
yeah, like I said, I couldn't remember if I was pretty sure the Foley one happened first. But it's like, I'm not sure, so I'm gonna ask these guys. But I don't think the Dustin one works as well as the Mick Foley one.
No, because like you said, anybody who was a Dusty fan and heard Dustin bitching like that thought that's what he was doing. You know, your father is Dusty Rhodes. That's a shadow you really can't come out of. But if you really wanted to, then you could have. But you're sitting here on a couch bitching to Jim Ross that people didn't want to talk to you when you first joined wrestling. They were always only worried about your father. Well, that was going to happen, kid. You went by Dustin Rhodes. You had bleach blonde hair. You know?
Yeah.
So
I think he kind of came off kind of whiny.
Yeah.
So then the Hart Foundation think they found Shawn Michaels in the restroom. They hear a toilet flush. They're waiting for him to come out. And they attack, and it's some random dude. And they're like, oh, it's the wrong guy. And they're like, oh, shit, we're beating up the wrong guy.
You're like, God damn it, it's Wendell Cooley.
Yeah, we're beating up Wendell Cooley. And then they just go, whatever. And then they just proceed to keep kicking the shit out of the guy. And then we get a WWF Attitude video. This one is,
I believe it was one of the first Attitude videos, right?
This is the second one. They did
second one, yeah.
This one was little Tommy is getting abused on the bus, but he started watching WWF programming, and he's become more aggressive now. And it's like basically he got ridiculed on the bus, and now he's pretending to be Shawn Michaels.
Right. So that's why we had to start the "Don't try this at home" on every show because little Tommy began giving people pile drivers on the floor.
But the shit you said to your parents about the broccoli and the cauliflower, you can't do that on the school bus. We're not going to take that shit.
Well, this gets pretending to be Shawn Michaels. So all he did was he was getting beat up, and then he gets on the bus now, and the Sexy Boy theme plays, and he's wearing like his little Shawn Michaels outfit, and all these little girls are swinging their fucking book bags and shit at him. Like, turned on. This one was weird.
As an 8-year-old, really was. I'm a sexy boy, sexy boy.
Yeah, it's
They
like
should have played the Kids Bop version of Shawn Michaels thing.
yeah, this one was a little awkward. So then the Nation of Domination is now in the ring, and Farouk is talking about how Crush is going to run this gauntlet against these 3 guys that he's found from the hood. And he's like, this is all going to happen. And like I said, I know Mark's one of the only guys that really watches the shows that we talk about on this show.
Oh no, I watch Raw and Smack and
Okay.
Nitro before we do, so I know what you're talking about.
And Nate, I want you to watch some Farouk stuff. And it's not the Farouk character. I think it's a you know how everybody has like a thing that they say when they're trying to explain something to somebody. Like my term is, and I say it without even thinking about it. I say, you know what I mean, or you know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Ron Simmons has a habit of every time he ends a sentence, he says, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Okay.
time. Like he's cutting this promo, and as I've been watching this, he says it all the fucking time. And in this thing, he's just like, tonight, Crush is gonna come out here and he's gonna show you how to win a gauntlet match. And Ahmed Johnson's black butt isn't gonna be able to beat us at Cold Day in Hell. Okay? And it's not like Ron Simmons was trying to get over the term okay. I just think that's just I feel that that's something that Ron Simmons says in his everyday life. Like when he was talking to his kids in 97, he's like, you're going to take the trash out, you're going to have the laundry done, and the dishes washed before I get home.
Okay.
Like Ron Simmons thing.
Thank God the fans didn't take off with that, like the one chance, because that would have been horrible during the Attitude Era. Okay. Okay.
Fantastic. I'm going to beat his goddamn ass tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
So Crush is now going into this 3-man gauntlet. The first guy comes out, and he's just some paunchy with long hair, and Crush beats him pretty quick. And then the number 2 guy is some fucking goober. Like, I don't know what
That
this
was actually, I think, his name, Goober McGee.
I don't know what this
Did you notice they didn't even fucking give him a Titantron? They just threw a fucking promo picture up there and then he runs out.
and his tights were ridiculous, and he jumped in the ring and he tried to do crowd work, like people were gonna care, and they just all looked at him. And I don't know what his fucking trunks were all about, but he proceeds to get his ass kicked by Crush, gets the heart punch, and Crush pins him. And then the third man runs out, and he's got a pantyhose on his head. He's wearing a Green Bay Packers windbreaker and the same exact pants that Ahmed Johnson was wearing earlier in his match. And
he borrowed them.
He smacks Crush around, ends up hitting the Pearl River plunge on Crush and beats him. And then he gets out of the ring quickly and rips the panty off his head. And surprise, surprise, it's Ahmed Johnson.
Right.
So
like we couldn't tell it was Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah. So Ahmed ends up.
Boy, you got a penny on your head.
You got a penny on your head.
It's called do-rag.
And then we're going to take a quick break after this because I want Nate to find that Warriors of Virtue trailer we talked about. Nate, did you forget?
No, I've actually got it queued up right now.
Okay, because we're going to take a break because I got to pee again.
Because I'm a fucking professional.
Good job. That's why I asked you to do it. The thing that I wrote down was it wasn't anything about this match. It was the fact, that Ahmed had the panty on his head, you know what I mean? And Lawler goes, "Oh man, he was dressed just like somebody that was getting ready to mug somebody."
Right.
So
Exactly.
that became a thing.
Well, he was in a gang.
I know, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, everybody's the first person to do something, correct?
Mhm.
Right.
So there was a guy somewhere on this planet in some year that was like, "I have the best way to rob somebody and they'll never know who I am." And they were like, "What's that?" "I'm going to put a pantyhose on my head and they'll have no fucking idea."
Right.
And he got away with it. And then he told all his buddies and they were like, "Oh,
And
let's do it."
pantyhose sales were through the roof after.
And that
So-
blonde's name was Buddy Landell.
So there was just some guy.
I thought it was Ken Wayne.
There was some guy sitting in his shitty apartment or his YMCA fucking room that was like, "I gotta start robbing people to make money. I'm gonna put a
Yep.
panty on my head."
And that man's name was Wendell Cooley.
But what I say, okay, there's a first guy to do
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
there's a first person to experience everything. So the first guy ever to rob somebody with a panty on his head did it, and then this person that got robbed had to report to the police. They're like, "Tell us exactly what happened."
This man had a panty on his head.
And he was like, "I was walking down the street and a man jumped out of the shadows and he had a leggings on his head and asked me to give him all his money, and then he ran away." And the cops were like, "That's fucking nuts."
Sir, do you know the brand?
Yeah, dude.
Like, if
Was
I,
it was it a fishnet?
if you're the first guy,
was it a fishnet? Was it black?
if you're the first guy that ever got robbed with somebody with a panty on their head, are you more confused about the robbery itself?
Right.
And then they taking my money, or the guy had a panty on his head?
Right.
What the fuck
Couldn't
was
even
that?
afford a ski mask.
And
If he is that guy and he was a wrestling fan, that's just triggered his PTSD.
Right.
I don't know if I was overthinking that shit. I'm just like, I can't imagine the first robbery with a guy that was like, "I'm gonna take my 6-shooter out, but I don't want to be identified. What can I wear? Oh, hosiery."
You have to wonder, and I know this is going to sound really bad in post and whatnot, but you have to wonder, was it a clean pantyhose that he bought from the store? Or did he grab his wife's, his mom's, or his sister's off the floor?
Or
Oh,
did
it was
he
his
pick up
mom's.
somebody on the
Right.
way?
It was
Right. Or did he-
it was no doubt his mom's.
Right.
Because he's living with her.
Right.
He wouldn't have to rob if he had his own house.
Wendell, did you steal my pantyhose again? Yes, I did, Mama. I need
I
it.
did, Mommy. Is that Cooley?
All right, 2-minute break. 2-minute break. And get that shit queued up.
2-minute warning. Too many men on the field.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
All right.
Damn, everybody is finding those new Ruthless Aggression figures.
Yeah.
And I don't want them because they look like Jacks to me. They don't look like
Yeah.
elites. They look like Jacks. They don't look like Jacks and Sevens.
The only one I only want two of them: the Batista and the fucking Brock Lesnar.
The Brock is
rest I
cool
could live.
looking. The Brock is definitely cool looking because he doesn't have the sword on his chest. You know
Right.
what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, they're re-released figures even of elites because we've gotten these elites before. You know what I mean? So it's just Mattel
Right.
getting lazy.
So we don't have to
The only
put no more work into a sculpt or anything like that.
right.
I didn't know that they actually sculpt that shit really big and then fucking scale it down.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if you've seen what Warren says sometimes. This is for shrinking. This is for enlarging. They can enlarge the scopes or shrink them. I'll
Right,
be honest though. I was an idiot. I thought when they shrunk them, they put them in a machine and it actually shrunk the head. I didn't know that you could actually just change the modifications on the 3D printer. I thought there was
right,
like a shrinking machine.
right.
You know what?
So, what?
As a collector, I'm not a. I gotta have this very minute. Blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna fight everybody for it. Okay.
Right.
But here's a pet peeve from today, because I know I'm gonna be mad, and it rarely happens.
Okay.
I hate collecting sometimes because that Hogan Zeus no
Yeah.
holds barred thing, I think it's very cool, and I would love
Yeah.
to
The
have.
box alone is great for display.
Yeah, it's just really neat, like with the VHS tape and all that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Right.
The problem is, and this is where I was mad today. I'm already seeing people like, posting up the time it's going to be for sale, and blah blah blah. And I don't know who I'm more mad at. Am I more mad at the producer of the product, or am I more mad at the people? Because again, very rarely do I'm not that guy that like, oh, I got to get this shit the minute it starts for sale.
Right. Right.
I'm just like, all right, I'll find one at some point. I got friends, somebody will find something for me.
Right.
But with shit like that, and then you're like, okay, there's a figure. You wonder sometimes if they're if the manufacturers are fucking us too, because they'll be
Yes.
like, oh, here's a figure where it's 1 of 1,000. It's a 1 of 1,000 Chris Jericho AEW some shit,
Right.
Okay, but according to the way that I can find product, everything's fucking 1 of 1,000 because I can't ever fucking find it.
Right, but then here's the bigger crack up. They just released a Pro Wrestling Tees AEW Kenny Omega, and it's 1 of 3,000.
Mhm.
And they sold out on day one, and that was
Mhm.
like a month ago.
Right.
So what did they do 3 days ago? They found a few more and they released them to the general public on Pro Wrestling Tees again. Well, if it was 1 of 3,000, then how did you have more?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You only could buy it on their website. So therefore, they sold out of 3,000 immediately. So now it's not 1 of 3,000. Now it's 1 of 3,069.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what did you do there? You totally blew us off. And like you're saying about this new Hogan Zeus thing, it's only available on Mattel Creations.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it does end up on a ringside after it releases or whatever, the price is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, that's what I say. They're going to mark it up 10 times.
Right.
And but yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't believe the 1 of 1,000, 1 of 3,000 thing anymore, because it took me, and thankfully Aaron was able to get me one, but it took me 6 months to get a fucking goon.
Right.
So what that tells me is, and I'm a Bill Irwin fan, I wanted a fucking goon figure, but
so did I.
What that tells me is, okay, so if it takes me 6 months to find one of these, how many are there?
Right.
And what are you what's actually happening here? Anyway, I just that thing set me off today. I was like, boy, there's something I'd really like, but I'm not going to get one till a year and a half after it ends, and I'm going to pay double for it.
Right. I haven't bought anything in over a month, maybe. Not just because like money's tight and shit like that. I can't find anything, and I'm tired of paying shipping.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. We like you said, we have friends. David Gold will find something and he'll know I want it, or Dan Gleason or something. But shipping is now $10.58 to ship on an Elite. So that means it's almost costing me a time and a half to get the figure. I'm tired of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And God bless them, they ship and they'll get them to me and they're minty. But I'm tired of paying $35 a figure now.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I've literally gotten to the point where I'm like, fuck it. If I don't ever find it, I don't care anymore. Like, if I find it, great. If I don't, fuck it.
The only thing I'm looking for right now is the Legend Stacy Keebler because I always get the women's figures. Those are like my favorite to collect.
Mhm.
That, and I'd love a Chris Statlander from the AEW line, which I found a Statlander a month and a half ago, but I didn't feel like forking out $25 for it at Target.
Right.
So I should have just shut up and bought it, but whatever. But like, if I don't get them, like you said, for 6 or 7 months, it's like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Don't
Because
care.
either I'll find them on clearance or someone will find them for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Guys, real quick before we get into the fucking rest of my show, a good, honestly priced toy site, and they have like they categorize their shit, like they'll be like G.I. Joe, and they'll be like Ninja Turtles, all this shit. What I don't buy anything from like that Ringside Collectibles thing or what. Well, I shouldn't say I don't buy anything from them. I've bought like the like that Sandman toy that I had him sign. You know, I bought that from them. But the online toy company that I do my most business with, and they have honest pricing and their shipping isn't terrible, is Rogue Toys.
I've never checked them out before. I have to
I've used
see
them
what they're
before.
about.
I also
Nate,
bid on.
you
Go
said you
ahead.
use them. Nate, I'm just saying you said you used them before.
Yeah, I've used them.
Am I wrong? Their
No,
shipping,
it's fine.
isn't dumb. They will tell you, this is what there's this dang or there's this bubble in the package or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll see the same two toys on there, and they'll be different prices because they're saying, okay, this one's really good and in good condition, but this one is a little the cards warped, so it'll be like $5 less because of the card being, and everything they send me is packed immaculately, and you get it when they say you're going to get it, and if they can't get it to you when they say they're going to get it to you, they will honestly email you and say, we can't get this to you when we thought we would. Do you want your money back?
Well, see, that's nice of them because Ringside just keeps my money until they get the damn product in.
Yeah, Rogue Toys will be straight up honest with you and say, hey.
I also use Shop Goodwill a lot.
Yeah, but that Rogue Toys, they have a store in Vegas, so they get a lot of shit there. They have a store in.
That's why the name is so familiar. Okay.
They have a store in like I think Salt Lake and then somewhere else. I don't remember, but
Oregon,
possibly. But it's a good site.
All right, let's get back into your show because I've got a doctor's appointment at 9:30.
You really think we're gonna go another 8 hours?
No.
I'm gonna write the timestamp down here real quick. All right, go ahead, Aaron.
All right, so we've had that match with the Ahmed Johnson getting his comeuppance on the Nation going into Cold Day in Hell, and then we're about to go into the Raw is the War Zone. But before we do that, we would like to say that this week's episode of the year that was ... 1997 is sponsored by Paramount Pictures' Warriors of Virtue. Please go to your local theaters and check out this surefire summer blockbuster. Take a look.
Or a listen.
To hang with us, you gotta be initiated.
One day, one ordinary kid will be transported to an extraordinary world beyond the boundaries of imagination.
Got flushed down a toilet.
Yep. Oh, God.
In this new world, welcome to the other side.
You're really a newcomer?
Ruled by fear.
I want him alive! Go!
Houston, we have a problem.
He is the last hope to bring together 5 legendary warriors.
How's it going?
He is often a bit cranky, who use the forces of nature as their weapons. Wood, fire, earth, metal, and
Water.
now the
Water's the
battle
most
against the
impressive.
ultimate evil. The answer lies with you. Is about to begin.
Come out and
Touchdown.
Bye-bye. I can't leave them. They need me here.
You are invited to enter a remarkable world.
Yes!
Where nature is your weapon, but you are the ultimate warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Warriors of virtue.
So that's what he meant by put the rocket in the rocket fuel in the rocket.
Listen, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Captain Planet.
meets Captain Planet meets Winnie the Pooh, because you got
Right.
you got the TMNT and the Captain Planet with the fucking Earth, Wind, Fire fucking shit, and then you got the Kanga. So there you go.
Oh my
Why do
god.
you have to get?
Surprisingly, it's not horrible though.
Why do you have to get?
I'm
flushed
just gonna
down the
take your
toilet?
word for it. I don't have enough time in my life to watch that movie.
But why did he have to get flushed down the water closet in order to get to that big land?
Because
It was part of the initiation.
it's a turd.
It's
So
shit.
really, it's a
It's
turd, right? It's a turd. Oh my god.
Ugh, it's gonna become a regular segment. We're gonna find some random
What
shit.
did that fucking guy say? Yeah.
No.
I watched that fucking movie in '97, asshole.
And Mark was like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen."
Oh man, TMNK. All right.
Yep, TMNK, the poo.
Oh my god. Wood.
That was bad.
Wood
That was
is
bad.
one of their strengths. Wood.
Wood.
But then the kid's most impressed by water. It's like water.
That wet.
I've never taken a shower before.
Oh my god. So coming to a theater near you, go watch The Warriors of Virtue.
25
You
years
probably
ago.
find that shit on YouTube now for free.
I'm not finding it anywhere.
It's
Oh,
not
you
even
absolutely can. You absolutely can, because when I looked up the trailer on YouTube, right below it was the entire movie.
The entire movie.
So,
Was there,
there you go.
probably
was
not
there
even like
commercials?
it's probably not even one of the ones free with ads. It's just like free.
Just free. Please watch our movie.
Please.
Please. We only had one guy watch it.
I think his name was Mark.
Mark.
There's 17 comments, and it's just Mark talking to himself.
Oh my god.
I had that shit on VHS.
Oh god.
Donna Kanga's the best one.
Mark still got
No, like I think literally like one of them was named like Rue or some shit.
I was
Like
saying
he was
Micah
like
Kanga,
saying Winnie the Pooh. That's what made it funny.
Micah Kanga, Donna Kanga.
After Kagan.
I don't fucking know. We spent a little
Mark
bit more.
has it. Mark still has that on VHS, and it's autographed by Corey Feldman because he was always in one of those badass stupid movies like that.
One of the Coreys.
One of the Coreys, yeah.
So we get that commercial, and then we roll into another Warehouse's War beginning, and Vince McMahon introduces HBK. And I go, oh, great. More verbal fellatio from Vince McMahon onto Shawn Michaels, because as I've stated before, I hate when Shawn Michaels is interviewed by Vince McMahon.
It's horrible.
Nate, I know I'm a fan of both guys, but I hate the baby face Shawn Michaels being interviewed by Vince and Vince doing his laughing.
Oh yeah, it's too much.
It's
terrible.
He was laughing because he knew he wasn't going to have to pay him hush money.
Actually, I put that. I wonder if Vince McMahon had to pay him hush money.
Yeah.
With how fucking smiley and googly eyed he has at him. It's like, Jesus Christ. Maybe Hawk was right. That might be a deep cut. There's a shoot interview where Hawk says that fucking Shawn was fucking Vince, and that's the only reason that he would have kicked Brett out over Shawn. Anyway.
I don't believe any Vince gay stuff. I don't believe it. No, I don't. I absolutely positively I know, but I will believe anything you will ever say about Vince McMahon sexually harassing a woman, and I really will, like, just because he's an alpha male macho prick. Let's be honest. That's his personality. I don't believe any of the gay shit about Vince. Like,
if it did happen, he probably would have paid more.
Yeah, no,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I don't believe it. I really do think that Vince looked at Shawn, or Shawn looked at Vince as a father figure, and Vince looked at Shawn as a son figure. I really do. And I'm not saying that makes the segments any better. They're totally cringe and they're awful. But yeah, I don't. That shit doesn't work for me. I totally believe he's a fucking masochist. I believe that totally.
I know, and I was just making the joke with the hush money thing.
I know,
but I think it would be funny if it's like, "You ready, pal?"
Genetic jackhammer.
Genetic jackhammer.
DX did say he loves cops.
Spread them cheeks, pal.
Oh God, Aaron.
There's your fucking title.
Spread them cheeks, pal.
That's great.
It's kind of like Chad talking about Paul Heyman and fucking Grand Wizard.
Oof.
But yeah, I listened to that episode.
Vince introduces HBK. HBK comes out. HBK says he doesn't know where Austin is, and he doesn't really care. And he says that he's not interfering in Austin's matches to prevent him from being hurt. He's interfering to hurt the Hart Foundation. And then HBK says that the cool thing seems to be now to basically shit on the fans. And that seems to be the trend. But he's a guy that likes to go against the trend. So he's going to start sucking up to the fans. And then Vince asks HBK, all the fans want you to come back. They want to know when you're going to return to the ring. And HBK says that he's going to return to the ring next month at King of the Ring. And then says that apparently the Hart Foundation doesn't want to find him because he's out here right now and none of them are around. And then he dances, and that's how the interview segment is perceived to end. You guys have anything on any of that shit that Shawn said? If you don't, that's fine. Move on.
Just Shawn being Shawn.
Yeah.
Like I always say about Shawn in '97, Shawn is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'm not going to deny it. I will go to my grave saying it. I will defend some of his shit at times because he really was as good as he thought he was. Like, somebody deny that.
I won't.
Nah, he was charismatic as a motherfucker, and he was good as shit in the ring.
And bell to bell in the ring. He may have been a pain in the ass before he went out the curtain, but when he went out the curtain, he was going to give you everything you ever wanted him to do, and he was going to be the best at it. There's no doubt. However,
Nobody hates the guy more, or hated. They're fine with each other now. Nobody hated the guy more than Brett, but Brett never said Shawn Michaels was a fucking terrible performer.
And Cornette too.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting to, and I've said it, I think I've said it before on one of our shows, is he is bell to bell one of the 5 greatest wrestlers in the history of wrestling. There's no doubt. If anybody wants to fight me on it, I'll do a 2-hour podcast on it because I'll prove them wrong. However, in '97, my biggest issue with Shawn is because he was so fucked up, and because he was so caught up in himself, and because he was so caught up in his shit. Week to week, you don't know what Shawn Michaels you're going to get. One week he's wearing a do-rag or some shit and trying to be Steve Austin, and the next week he's wearing like khaki shorts and trying to suck up to the crowd. I will admit that.
He's like Piper.
Yeah, you never know what Shawn you're going to get.
And you never know what Piper you're going to get. Are you going to get coherent, on the point, perfect promo Piper? Or are you going to get crazy ass, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Piper?
Yeah, crazy ass wearing a fedora Piper.
Yeah. So Shawn goes to leave. Not to step over anybody if they had anything to say.
No.
Shawn goes to leave, and then Bret Hart appears on the Titantron with Brian Pillman, and Bret tells Shawn Michaels not to leave. He's like, "Don't go anywhere, Shawn. I got a challenge for you." Shawn proceeds to, and I put this in here because Bret said like a under his breath line that made Pillman laugh. HBK goes and back to the ring and removes his shirt, and a bunch of the crowd starts like squealing like "Ew!" And Bret looks at Pillman and he goes, "Did he do that for the guys or the girls?" and he popped Pillman. And the reason I brought that up is that the Hart Foundation, like I said, greatest fucking faction in my personal opinion, but there wasn't like a lot of like screen time with Bret and Pillman by themselves, or you know what I mean, together.
Yeah.
But I think fucking Bret, and obviously he did because he put him in the group. I think Bret fucking thought Pillman was fucking awesome.
Bret Hart and Ric Flair saw the greatness of Brian Pillman and Steve Austin.
Yeah. I think that was fantastic. And watching it was kind of cool on this episode watching Bret watch Pillman do his thing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And Nate, remember, and then I'll just get back into the show. Remember, Nate, when we did a show a couple weeks back where we were talking about guys that didn't work together that we would have liked to have a match?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I talked about like Terry Funk and Jake Roberts never worked together. How awesome of a feud, like a one-on-one feud, would have been Shawn Michaels and Brian Pillman.
It would have been fantastic.
It would have been fucking great.
The promos alone would have been great.
Or a fucking train wreck. Either way, it would have been fun to watch.
Well, one of the matches definitely would have been a train wreck. I agree with that. One of them.
Pillman would have never let Shawn do his bullshit that he did. You know what I mean? Like it would have been fucking great. But anyway, Bret tells Sean to stay in the ring, and he says that he's got a challenge for him. He wants HBK to face Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And he goes, I don't want you to do it next week. I don't want you to do it at King of the Ring. I want you to do it right now. So Shawn Michaels gets back in the ring and says, sure, bring the Anvil on. Anvil comes out, and then Owen and Bulldog proceed to attack Shawn Michaels, and then the LOD come out and they save Shawn because they're putting over LOD having their feud with Owen and Bulldog, and they run them off. So that's what happens there. Something that's weird, and Brett was trying to, I don't know if Brett was trying to get this over somehow, but at least 4 times in this promo, he asked Shawn Michaels, do you have the jam to do this? Do you have the jam to face Anvil? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about with jam, Brett? I don't know what that was. But we'll get away from that. Brett he kept talking about jam. I don't know if somebody was that.
What he meant is Anvil was in catering and wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but Sean sold all the jelly.
Well, I can believe that.
So, no, it was obsessive how many times he says, "Do you have the jam?
Do you have the jam?" That's what Brett keeps
I don't think
saying.
you have the jam. Well, like he was emphasizing that word too.
So did I miss like a 97 thing where jam was a thing?
Nope.
No, Brett's just Canadian.
Yeah.
Maybe jam is Canadian for balls. You know.
I have no fucking idea. But I had that in my notes. So I wanted to bring it up and see if any of you guys would be like, yeah, I understand that. Or Mark being like, oh, yeah, I said jam all the time in 97.
Yeah, like, that's my jam. Not fucking, you don't got the jam.
Warriors
Maybe if I
of
was talking
Virtue
to a
is my
DJ or
jam.
something.
But anyway.
Hey, I will stand beside it. It's fine. I will own it.
Okay. Apparently nobody owns Warriors of Virtue because you can watch that shit for fucking free on YouTube. But like I said, Owen and Jim and Davey end up teaming up on Sean. The LOD come back and they save HBK, and then it goes to commercial. And now roles are reversed. HBK is hunting the Hart Foundation, and we roll into a match between Doug Furnace and Philip LaFawn, who are upset about their loss to the LOD last week, saying that it was a fluke and they're going to beat them this week. And then that match starts, and it's a back and forth match, and Owen and Bulldog get involved, allowing Furnace and LaFawn to get the victory. So Furnace and LaFawn get a 1-2-3 over Legion of Doom. Anything on that?
We've said it many times. Underrated tag team for this to move on.
They were.
But, like, not to discount them in the ring, but when I hear Furnace and LaFawn, I think, like, okay, is there a boiler room with a deer in it or something?
So that happened, and then they come back from commercial, and Brian Pillman and the Anvil have finally found Shawn Michaels, and they're kicking the shit out of him, and then Steve Austin ends up showing up. He walks into the building, and it's not that he sees that HBK is getting beat up. He walks into the building for the first time for the night and immediately sees Pillman and Anvil and goes into attack mode. So then it turns into Steve Austin and HBK brawling with Pillman and Anvil. So we've now established that Steve Austin has showed up. And then Undertaker comes out and he cuts a pretty basic promo stating that he's the WWF champion. He's the champion of the Creatures of the Night, and somebody has stole his title. And he doesn't know who stole his title, but eventually when he finds out who did, I don't know your name, but you're going to be basically resting in peace once he finds out who took it. And then he talks about Steve Austin and how Steve Austin has a flame of fury and that he respects the flame, but he's going to have to put it out and extinguish it at Cold Day in Hell.
Good promo.
And then he leaves.
It was basically you said, but it was a good promo.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep mentioning Cold Day in Hell so Nate knows the name of the next show we're going to do.
Am I missing something? Did Nate mess up the name of it in your house?
I sure did.
He botched.
He swapped it with Revenge of the Taker, right?
So the name of the next episode is Good Friends, Better Enemies. Got it.
Beware of Dog. So the next thing we get is I was like excited because Nicholas.
It's Beware of Dog Part 2.
Part 2. The one where the lights were actually on for it.
So the next thing we get is my favorite little kid attitude commercial. I was excited it was back. Nicholas is back. And he's like, broccoli, cauliflower, you feed me this garbage and expect me to whatever. And then his parents are talking and they're like, and his dad's like, I don't know. He's just been walking around the house mumbling something about whoop ass. And then he looks at his parents and he's like, you two are completely pathetic. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
That's one of my favorite things about, what is it? Is it WWF The Music Volume 2 that has the Austin theme on it? I think it's Volume 2.
Yeah, with Fred Blassie and the kid.
But on the CD, like before Austin's music starts, like when you hit play on the track, it goes, you are completely pathetic. And then it starts playing Austin's music. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hell Frozen Over, right?
And by the way, I don't know if I've said this before. I think I have, or maybe I made a post about it at some point. Jim Johnston used the same beat for the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme as he did for the Razor Ramon theme.
He did.
Really?
Well, listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun,
And
dun,
he's
wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he stole that beat from an Eagles song.
Yes, he did.
Those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking Razor Ramon's theme, man. Even at the beginning of it's like wah wah wah. And I'm not. And I'm even knocking it. I'm not even knocking that he stole it because everybody steals everything. In
No, it's fine. But I'm just saying, like, you listen to the two themes, listen to them, listen to one, listen to Razor's, then listen to Steve's. It's got the same. It's like Mark said. It's just it's an upper tempo, but they're the same tempo. They're the same, or not the same tempo, but the same beat.
And honestly, you know, it's silly too. And I don't want to get into the weeds. But you know, it's funny too. The Razor Ramon character and the Stone Cold character are kind of the same thing.
Yep.
Like Razor Ramon was kind of the Stone Cold of the fucking early 90s. It was just this fucking guy that was like, I don't give a fuck. You know? I'll smack you around. I don't give a shit. But anyway.
Started out as a heel character, got over. Didn't have to change the character.
Because he was a badass prick. And everybody likes that.
Right.
So like I said, that Nicholas fucking commercial cracks me up. And then Sonny comes out. all the fucking way live. Nate, I know you didn't watch it, but this is Sonny in a Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt and like knee-high boots, and that's it.
And back then, she was always all the way live. And
It
now
was-
most of the people that encounter her are not alive. So
Hey, I made it out pretty safe.
most of them are all the way life sentences. Those are the people she's hanging out with. But at this point, she is just out there in knee-high boots and a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, and she goes to walk away, and it does not even look like she's wearing fucking panties. And Jerry Lawler is super jacked about it.
Knowing her, she probably wasn't.
And it was a good thing to see. And then the main event of the match, the main event match of the show is the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith versus Steve Austin. They go like 13 minutes. It's a long match, but it's not bad and it's not good. It's just a match. Steve Austin
it's the match. It's the match you were supposed to get at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a decent match. Steve ends up winning with the Stone Cold Stunner, but the post match is where the story's at. After Steve gets a Stone Cold Stunner and pins Davey, the Hearts attack Steve, and they are proceeding to beat him down. And Jim Ross is like, they're beating him with a belt. They're beating him with a title. And guess what title they're beating him with?
Continental?
Nope. The WWF title.
That's a callback to when they said somebody stole the title out the Undertaker's locker room.
And the Hearts had been trying to track down Shawn. And the story is, the throwback is that they've been going through every locker room looking for Shawn Michaels, and they apparently wound up in the Undertaker's locker room, and Owen was like, fuck it, let's steal this belt. So they steal it.
We got all the other ones.
Yeah, so they're beating Steve. They're beating Steve with the WWF Championship. LOD comes back out again, but Furnace and LaFon attack them, and then HBK comes out and gets involved, and then the lights go out, and they come back on, and the Undertaker's in the ring, and he starts attacking. Then the Hearts and Furnace and LaFon powder out, and then the only people in the ring after all of this are Austin and the Undertaker. Austin does not see the Undertaker behind him and ends up picking up the WWF title, and he's looking at it, and he turns around. Taker sees Austin with the WWF title, which pisses him off. Austin throws the belt at Taker's feet, kind of drawing the line there, and Taker steps over the line, and they start to brawl, and that is how Raw is War ends. And I thought it was a fucking kick-ass show.
Miles better than Nitro. Miles better. Should have beat Nitro in the ratings, but didn't.
So
the only thing about and again, 97, my favorite year in wrestling, my favorite year especially in the WWF. The only thing I'll say negative is, and I'm not gonna harp on it because I know we want to wrap up here. Taker's title reign in 97 suffers from the fact that so much else is going on.
Well, right. It's like Bret, Shawn, and Stone Cold don't even want the belt.
He's the champion, but but his title reign's just kind of there, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a backdrop.
His title reign in 97 was kind of like how I don't know, and I'm not knocking it. It was kind of like how Mick said his title reign. His first title reign was like, lifetime achievement award type thing.
Yeah.
But anywho, nobody else has anything else to say, I guess.
No, I think we covered it.
All right. So, does anybody have anything that they want to hype before I fuck up the closing of the show? Because that's kind of what I do.
Yes, I would like to ask that everybody go on and support that Warriors movie on YouTube and get it to at least 1 million views, if you could.
Mark, do you have anything?
Yeah. let's continue to grow the listening audience of all the podcasts on the network. And I actually, my guest this week for March Indie Spotlight is someone that is on a Netflix original series. So this is going to be pretty interesting.
It's going to be good shit, pal.
It's such good shit.
Nate, you got anything?
Well, in this company, we don't inundate you with 5 minutes of dick pills. We also don't talk down to you because we are wrestling historian elitists. And we don't sign non-disclosure agreements. I'm actually, as the CEO of this company, faithful to my wife. So for Conrad Thompson, for Brian Last, who I respect, but goddamn, those shows are so condescending, and for Vince McMahon, who's obviously had his dick in more toilets than.
Damn, Nate.
Whoa.
And we'll rewind that. Anyway, Vince, get your dick wet, pal. But anyway,
I think Nate just stole my gimmick.
I might have on your show. I do, because I show up for this show and I just start drinking beer. But anyway,
like Conrad, I wasn't even thinking about like Conrad Thompson. He brought Brian Last. What the fuck did he ever do to anybody?
What did Brian Last ever do to anybody? He condescends a bit.
Yeah. So do I.
I don't listen to Conrad's show, so I don't know what he does anymore because I stopped listening to those years ago. But anyway, these shows are great. These shows are entertaining. We have a great time, and we hope you have a great time enjoying them with us. And on Aaron's show, I tend to get a little bombed, so because I don't have to be the boss. I can just sit back, relax, get drunk, and listen to him talk about my favorite year in wrestling, 1997. And that being said, I'm going to let you sign off your own fucking show because I don't have it in me.
All right. I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you guys, Mark and Arch and Nate, for joining in tonight. And like I've said previously, I'm only 5 beers in, so it's not going to be a fucking train wreck like Nate was.
Choo-choo.
I just want to thank everybody that listens to the shows. Support all the shows that Nate produces, especially this one. I want to get this show out of being the curtain jerker because I know that's what it is. I have no misgivings about what I am. I know I'm the Barry Horowitz, the Steve Lambardi of the fucking group. And I have no misgivings of it because guess what? I'd rather watch or listen to Steve Lambardi.
There are 56 people that regularly listen to your show.
No, you know what? I have to call bullshit here. He invented you and him together, but it was his brainchild. the most popular show on the network, Reliving the Extreme. So how are you the Barry Horowitz? Or Stephen Martin?
Also, Aaron,
Huh.
since you're playing your pity party here, give me just a second.
Shawn Michaels.
With your goddamn pity party.
No playing no pity party.
You have 56 regular listeners to your show.
Okay.
The Slice of Time has 26. So you're not the curtain jerker. I am.
Wait, how many does the We Can't Wrestle have?
We Can't
I
Wrestle
was in the hundreds,
has.
right?
We
That was like over
Can't
100.
Wrestle has 222.
Right.
I wasn't
There's
doing
no curtain.
party.
There's no curtain jerker on this channel. We all play our part. Okay.
And Reliving the Extreme right now has 1,678. And you created that. So stop fucking pity partying.
You're fucking shitting me. Say that number again.
Reliving the Extreme has 1,678 listeners.
Holy fucking shit.
How many does my show have?
That means nothing compared to other podcasts, but
I have like 30 or 40 listeners, right?
Archie, you have 88.
Oh, we bumped up. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Mark, you have 39.
Yeah, I'm growing.
Mark's
That's double what I had last time.
Mark's a shower, not a grower. Or a grower, not a shower.
Oh God, Mark, if you need Mark,
I'm sorry.
Mark, if you need help growing, Mark, if you need help growing, I know of a podcast that'll tell you something to help you with that.
Yeah.
Mount Everest.
Yeah. This ain't your grandpa's boner pills.
Roll Tide.
Oh shit.
Hey, Mark.
But no.
Mark, listen.
Yeah.
Mark, listen. I came up with Reliving the Extreme, and I'm not big dogging you. I'm just saying I did that. But if you want to get your numbers up to that, if you could figure out how to forge the powers of wood, water, paper, and what was the other one? Fucking
air, I
gravel?
think.
Ink?
It was air.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I know paper wasn't a part of that.
If you can figure out how to get the powers of wood, paper, printer ink, and Sloppy Joe to come together, you could build your fucking empire, brother.
Well, I mean, all I have to do is run with the idea and continue the premise and continue to put on good shit.
You know what?
I'm completely ignoring that whole shit that you just said, by the way.
I said Sloppy
Look,
Joe.
we all know why Reliving the Extreme has the most listeners. Because you guys got Ham Dog on there. Okay? Chad Austin. And Aaron and Nate, but Ham Dog's on there. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm still calling him out. I want him on the next book and the box.
Yeah, we got to do a fucking live pay-per-view thing with Archie and fucking Chad where they roast each other the whole fucking time.
That would be hysterical. But Chad might get mad at me if I go too crazy.
My impersonation of Chad. Archie Mitchell?
Yeah. You know what I don't get, Nate? Nate, you know what makes me laugh?
What?
He mentions me constantly on all the pages that we run and things like that. And then when I finally made a joke, I was like, I'm calling you out for WrestleMania. He's like, who's Archie Mitchell? I'm like, what the fuck?
That's Chad, man.
Like you mentioned my name constantly. Yeah, exactly.
Being a worker, brother.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But he got my goat with that. Like, you mention me every day, and now you don't know who I am?
I mean, come on. He was chokeslammed by 911 more times than Vince had his dick in
Right.
butts, like Nate said.
Right.
So anyway, I think I was doing a closing, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess.
What I was trying to say was I appreciate I think Nate said 56.
Oh, God damn it. 56. Yes, you got
Yeah.
it.
That was
Good
wrong.
job.
Nate was
Good
just fucking
job.
making it up.
No, I had to click back to the fucking thing because
I would like to appreciate the 50
Six.
no, it's 53 listeners because you guys listen to the show. So the 53 actual listeners, hosts.
I don't listen to the show.
I don't either.
54 then.
Right, 54 then.
Let's get down to the numbers.
Basically, if
It's not cutting time, pal.
you're listening to this shit, I appreciate it. And if listening to all my buddies' shit, I appreciate that too. And if you're doing it, don't be a lazy bitch. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the fucking comment button, and just say, "This is good shit, pal."
And nobody cares if you're watching Japanese wrestling.
Yeah,
and nobody cares. Anyway, go ahead, Aaron. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares
about Japanese wrestling.
What I'm trying to say is nobody cares what you have to say. Just say it in the comment section and hit the like button. And that helps drive us up the fucking
And you have a
algorithm.
you have a group now too.
Yes, I do. And once Nate gets off his lazy ass and posts the show, you're not lazy.
Maybe a little.
The listeners are lazy. You're not lazy. The listeners are lazy. Once Nate wakes up tomorrow and puts forth the effort to produce this fucking train wreck that we just did, I will post that onto my current Facebook page that I have started, which is for the year that was ... I'll start posting current content on there. And just thanks for listening, guys. And if we can get these shows up to the numbers that like Reliving the Extreme are, we can start trying to do bonus content and other crazier shit.
Live videos, right.
Yeah. So support Mark's show, Indie Spotlight, support Archie's show. If you smell what the Archie's cooking, support Nate's little lame show, Slice Time. They're
Yeah, get me up there, folks. God damn.
Yeah. Nate can't get it up.
Nate, I have a podcast that can help you with that.
Help Nate get it up.
Oh my God.
Or Slice Time.
Yeah, if I can't get it up, we won't have a host for our next fucking trivia show.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He's gonna divorce him.
Sign off.
Good night, everybody.
I can only pet this cat and look at fucking Pluto TV so long. Jesus Christ. I gotta move.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. We love you.
Hasta la vista, motherfuckers.
Oh.
I'll be back.
Warriors of Virtue.